Good evening, League. Coming at you, week 7. Gonna do something a little different this week. We are not doing a week wrap up. We are gonna do a mid-season update. Where are you now? Basically, looking at my draft rankings and how your team looks now. What's changed? What hasn't worked out? What has worked out? What I predicted was right. That kind of shit. This is actually video number 2. First video looked like ass. My voice is all like fucked up. So this is going to be a longer video, so bear with me. I'll try to get through it as fast as I possibly can, but I want to break down each team individually. So we're going to start from the top of the league and then work our way to the bottom. If you know your ranking, you can kind of visualize where you'd be at in this video, and you can skip there if you'd like. So started off lounging it right now, so if I look away, I'm reading my notes. First person in the league, Mick Steiner, 6-1, Fupa Freaks. I rated your draft number 1. Obviously, that's correct. You are number 1 in the league right now. Quarterback Tyrod Taylor, haven't really utilized him as much as I thought you would. Kirk Cousins has been your workhorse, Kirk work. But I think you're going to start using Tyrod here shortly, and he'll be a decent quarterback for you. You're still putting up 100. Who cares? Running backs. I claimed you have the best backfield. That hasn't changed. You do have the best backfield. David Johnson is the god. Yeah, best backfield in the league. That's easy. Wide receiver. I said your wide receiver core was our wide receiver 2s at best. I still kind of believe that. You did get AJ Green off of a trade, but all your drafted wide receivers could be wide receiver 2s. Probably your weakest part of your team, but still not that weak compared to other teams. So you'll be all right there. Tight end, Gronk. That's what I said in the draft. Still Gronk. Had a slow start, but he's there. He's back. He'll be good. Defensive kicker. I was 100% wrong on my prediction. I thought Vikings D and Vinatieri were shit picks, and I was dead fucking wrong. Both are number 1 in their respective positions. So congrats to you on those great draft picks panning out for you this year. Barring injuries, you're on a fast track to winning this league. Early playoff prediction for you, and for the rest of the league, I'm going to predict where I think you're going to finish. Steiner, you're going to finish number 1 seed, and you'll get a bye week. Sorry. I had to talk for 30 minutes and realized that this video didn't work out, so I have to do it again. Anyway, Steiner, you're going to earn your a bye week, and you'll be the number 1 seed. Next up, you had CK, Vape Nash, 6-1, draft rated myself at 7. Obviously, that's wrong. I dogged myself a little bit for drafting Matty Ice, but he's paid it off. I mean, number 1 quarterback in the league, and now I have Tom Brady. So I have arguably the best quarterback tandem in the league. Either one could play either week, and they'd get me just a great amount of points. RB was kind of sketchy. Murray coming to a new team, and Jamal coming off an ACL. And Woodhead was going to be probably my most consistent back. Woodhead did get hurt, but I traded him way before that and got Spencer Ware. Thank you, TJ. My season would be over if I didn't get Spencer Ware. Let's be honest. So now I have Murray, Spencer Ware, and Charles still isn't back. So I'm getting lucky there. My RBs are kind of weak, but not really. Top 10 running backs. There's a fucking cat going nuts back here. Wide receiver, John Brown, huge letdown in my draft. I thought he'd be a decent pick. He wasn't. Hold up. I'm going to pause this real quick. Alright. I was getting some weird fucking lag on my webcam, so it would have fucked up my video. So, wide receiver, John Brown, let me down. Crabtree, on the other hand, who I thought wasn't going to be a huge asset to my team, is a huge asset to my team. And then Baldwin still hasn't established himself where I want him to be yet. So, wide receiver is still a big question for me, but obviously it's working out for me. Tight end, I traded away Jordan Reed to strengthen my backfield and get a better wide receiver and all that jazz. I dropped Bennett like an idiot, and I mean, that's my fault. I shouldn't have ever did that, but I thought my tight end draft was pretty solid, except now I'm kind of tight endless. Defense kicker, Broncos D's. Obviously, Broncos D. We all knew they'd be good. Canzaro was a big flop for me, but I have Matt Bryant now, so everything's good on the front. A little disappointed I didn't get my boy Hauschka, but I got over it. I'm going to go ahead and predict myself to get that number 2 seed in the playoffs and get that bye week. I think Mick and I are just so far down the road right now, average-wise, point-wise, that we are, I mean, we have 2 easy wins left on our schedule, and I think we'll get plenty more on top of that. So Mick and I will be in the playoffs. Just look for us, number 1 and 2. All right, number 3 in the league, Alex Payne, blood disease, 5-2. I gave you a number 3 draft rating, right on the money with that one. You and Mick so far. Quarterback Drew Brees, great pick, hasn't changed. He's still a great big asset to your team. Running back position, injury bug hit you hard. Jay Stu went down. McCoy's hurt. Gore is a bitch. So you're kind of iffy on the running back spot, and I predicted that you'd be a little iffy with depth, and obviously that's hurting you a little bit with Jay Stu being out. But you're obviously winning. Wide receiver, Julio has yet to get hurt. I predicted that he would get hurt, and he hasn't. In fact, he's just breaking records and pissing me off. Decker, I thought he'd be a bigger part of your team, but he's not because he got hurt. So that was wrong. And then I predicted Snead to be mediocre to bad, and he is mediocre to good, so kind of wrong. But now you have to start LaFell because LaFell apparently is fantasy relevant again. Thank God. I love Brandon LaFell. Everybody knows that. Tight end, Zach Miller was a C. I rated him a C just because we didn't know, and obviously we still don't know with a shitty quarterback throwing the ball. Who knows who Zach Miller is? So you're kind of flip-flopping tight ends week to week. It's not really a big deal in this league anymore. I mean, if you have Gronk, it's worth it, but other than that, there's not really a standout tight end that you need to start. Defense, kicker, you gave up on Seabass and Packer D pretty fucking fast. Probably the right decision because you have Dustin Hopkins, number 1 kicker in the league. Number 2, actually, Vinatieri's number 1. And you're just picking up whatever defense works for your squad right now. That's Baltimore. But Seabass, rip Seabass, man. Payne, I do predict you to be in the playoffs, number 3 seed. I think 1, 2, 3. That's how it's either gonna be Mick, Payne, or Mick and me. Mick is by far gonna be the number 1 seed, barring injury. Moving on, number 4, Mike Schneider. Y'all might have praised God, 5-2. I predicted him, or I said his draft was number 12, bottom, last awful draft. And he's 5-2, so I was fucking dead wrong on that one, Mike. Quarterback, Rivers. I thought he'd be a big question mark. He kind of is, but at the same time, he's putting up the numbers you need to win. He's not that quarterback that puts up 30 a week, but he's a quarterback that can put up 30 a week, 30 some week if you need it. He's a safe pick, I guess, for you. Running backs, I said Williams was a 3-week back, and he was. He got you the 3 wins, 3-0 start that you needed. Ryan Matthews is your RB1. He's your best running back, and I think that you knew that after the draft. Still not an RB1 in everybody else's league. I believe he's an RB2 at the best, but for you, he's going to be your RB1. You made some trades at the running back position to get better. Still a little sketchy there. Isaiah Crowell can be good some weeks and can be just shit other weeks. So running back's a big question mark for you, like I originally stated in the draft. And that could honestly hurt you down the road. Wide receiver, Mike Evans, great keeper. He's obviously paying off. I didn't think he would in my draft predictions, so I was wrong on that one too. Just a sec. Fucking cat. Sorry. Making the video longer than it needs to be. Oh, and this is the second time I've had to do it. You got Fitz, strengthened your wide receiver core, but you did lose A.J. Green just to make your backfield better. I don't know if Will Fuller is going to be a keeper for you. I didn't even mention him in my draft rankings because that's how irrelevant he was, and he still kind of is irrelevant on your team. Tight end, Greg Olsen. It's Greg Olsen. Not much to say about that. He's doing all right. He's not doing Gronk status, but he'll get there. I think the Panthers are going to bounce back here. Defensive kicker, you had Crosby and Panthers D. You dropped those pretty fucking fast. Now you're just kind of bouncing through who did well last week, and you're picking them up and starting them. The Mike method. I do, however, believe that you are going to make the playoffs. That hurts me to say. I honestly think you're going to be playoff seed number 5. I don't think you'll be number 4. I think you're going to squeak in there. You're 3 wins away from probably locking it up, and I think you have at least 3 wins left in you. So, Mike, welcome back to the playoffs, I guess. I was dead wrong on your draft position. 1 down. Next up, we had TJ Gibbons, 5-2. Gritty Gibbon, the Swaggets. I had you at number 4 draft position, so I was 1 off. You're actually 5 in this league. You and Mike are kind of back and forth. You beat Mike last week, if I believe. Yeah, you did. So technically, in my heart, you'd be number 4. So I was right. Ashline. Quarterback, Andy Luck, top 10 quarterback, and then you got Derek Carr, who's also top 10 quarterback. So good job there. Honestly, I rated them pretty highly too, so not a big deal. Running backs, you had the big boy backfield off the draft, Eddie Lacy and Doug Martin, and they're both hurt. Eddie Lacy done. Doug Martin's out for a couple more games. The lack of depth on your running backs really hurt. You traded away your probably a great running back, Spencer Ware, for Danny Woodhead, who would have been your flex, and Danny Woodhead got hurt. So you've been really hurt at the running back position, kind of scrambling, and now it's a weak spot on your team, major weak spot on your team. I don't know if that's going to help you stay in the playoff contention or not, but who knows. Wide receiver, I said your wide receivers were hit and miss, and they are. Don't argue that at all. T.Y. is the most consistent out of the 3. I'm talking Deshaun, T.Y., and I don't fucking care who your other one was. He's another hit and miss one. Hit or miss, sorry. Fucking tired. I've done this twice. So tired. You still have squeaked out 5 wins, so congrats with your wide receivers that you have right now. Tight end, you rolled with the 2 tight end for a long time, Kyle Rudolph and Delaney Walker. Delaney Walker is a great keeper. Not much more to say on that. You have one of the top 3 tight ends, I believe, in this league. Stevie G, oof. Might have been a waste of an eighth round pick with the way he's kicking this year. And Texans D, you dropped them off the map pretty quick after they started getting some injuries and weren't as good as we thought they were going to be. So you're starting the defense shuffle along with a lot of teams in this league. However, I do believe you are going to get in the playoffs this year. I believe you are honestly going to finish as a 6th seed in the playoffs. You and Mike will battle for 5th and 6th seed, I believe. I have a sleeper pick for number 4 seed, and honestly, looking back, I don't think he's going to get it, but I'm still going to predict him. So look for Mike and TJ to be in the playoffs. That's scary. Mike and TJ to be in the playoffs. Wow. 3 wins away, guys. 7 probably is going to get you close. Number 6 is Jordan Herstein. Moose Stuff, 4-3. I had you at number 6 draft ranking. You are number 6, so I was dead on with that one as well. I didn't give you an A at quarterback. You don't want to know why? Because I said Big Ben gets hurt every year. Not a hard prediction, because he is hurt yet again, and it is hurting your team. Landry doesn't hit AB like Big Ben does. I criticized your RB depth, and the 0-2 start actually ended up helping you, getting Jordan Howard and a couple other guys to strengthen your backfield. No surprise, Hill is an RB2 like I predicted. But the big surprise and what I was wrong about, Gordon is a top 5 back right now, and he's proved that he is a top 5 back this year. A lot of points, a lot of fantasy relevance. Ingram still hasn't been as useful as I predicted, but I think he'll get there. It's not a guy you can't start, you know. But I mean, you're still one injury away from having shit running backs. So, wide receiver though, Marvin Jones, biggest surprise. Didn't even mention him in my draft rankings. Didn't even know who the fuck he was, and he is probably arguably your number 1 wide receiver. Allen Robinson was the biggest waste of time on a keeper, I believe. He just hasn't done shit for your team. AB's AB. I'm not even going to mention him, but Robinson's a big disappointment and not what I predicted in my draft rankings. Tight end, I didn't think Jimmy Graham was that great of a decision, draft pick, and I still can't really grab onto him. He hasn't proven himself to be a top 10 tight end yet. He's getting there though. He has had some good games, but I don't think he's there yet. You did pick up Bennett off the waivers, so you'll be all right at tight end as long as they keep throwing to him, which they did in last game. So who knows? Might be hurting. Defensive kicker, you dropped and then picked up Chiefs D again. I mean, defenses are not really big things to draft unless you get a Broncos or a Vikings or Seahawks. And then you switch kickers basically every week since I took Canzaro from you. Jordan, however, I do not predict you to get into the playoffs this year. You will be fighting for that 6th position, but I believe you're going to be 1 win away from getting in there. I believe you're going to finish either 7-7 or 6-8. If you finish 7-7, you're going to lose just based on the fact that the teams above you have 8 wins. But it's going to be close, but I don't think you make the playoffs this year. If your team performs like they are right now, no way in hell you're making the playoffs. Sucks to be you, Jordan. Welcome to not making playoffs. I've never been there, so I guess I don't even know how that feels. Number 7, Cole Moreland, 4-3, Harambe's Tribute Tour. Draft position, I had you at number 10. Obviously, I was a little bit wrong on that as your number 7 right now in the league. Quarterback, I thought Stafford would be hit or miss. I always hate on him because Mike drafts him every year and he never performs like he should. This year, however, he has. I mean, they've been down in almost every game by multiple scores, so they've been throwing on every down. Also, their running backs are hurt, so they kind of have to throw. So Stafford gets a lot of opportunities to hit some tutties and some deep balls. So solid pick to you. Congrats, Cole, on the quarterback position. Running back, it was a tough spot for rankings, draft rankings, because you had Bell, who was on suspension. Forsett was your RB2, I guess. And Elliott was a rookie. Elliott has proved that he is a number 1 running back, and I will eat crow on that one because, I mean, I didn't really want to think he was going to be, but he is. And then Bell's back, and he's Bell, so not a big deal. However, this week you're kind of fucked with Bobby Rainey on a bye and Bell on a bye. Who are you going to start at RB2? Little debacle. You're a little light at the running back position. Not a little. You're really light at the running back position, but somehow you have 4 wins. I don't know how, but you do. Wide receiver core has been sketchy. I thought OBJ would take a step back. I believe he actually has taken a step back. New York just doesn't have the offense like they were last year. It's also halfway through the season. Who knows? Cobb also took a step back, and we kind of knew that with Jordy coming back and just more targets there. However, I mean, they're good players. They get you points. Tight end, you drafted Ebron, and I thought that was a great pick to get your tight end QB combo. He got hurt, however, so now you're starting Kyle Rudolph. He has good games. I don't know. I just can't like the guy. I don't know why. Vikings probably. Kicker and defense, you've held on to McManus for good measure. Good kicker, gets enough points for you to keep. Don't have to pedal around to get a new kicker every week. And then defense has just been who you think is going to do well. I do, however, have you predicted to be the number 4 seed in the playoffs. I think Cole Moreland is going to squeak out 4 straight wins and get 8-3 or 9-3 somehow. Not 8-3, that would make sense. 8-5. Not 8-5, 8-6. God, it's a fucking long night. I think Cole's going to be the number 4 seed. Just a bold prediction there, but I think Cole's team's going to turn it up and they're going to get there. I think he's going to jump Jordan. I think he's going to jump TJ and Mike. Bold prediction. Prove me right, Cole. Next up, you had Austin Mathers, 3 and 4, Team Brinko. Draft position number 11, so I was pretty wrong on that. I mean, 3 spots, but I was wrong. Eli was a waste of a pick. He's the GOAT, but he's not. And so you had to trade for A-Rod, so that weakened your team a bit. Just think if we actually didn't trade with you, how shitty all of our teams would be and how shitty your team would be. So it was hard not to trade with Austin. I was a culprit. Running backs, I thought your running back core was mediocre to bad. I still think that. C.J. Anderson has actually proved me wrong a little bit. He's actually been performing pretty decently. But you had to trade away Hyde to get Rodgers, and I don't know, you're just kind of weak at the running back position in my opinion. And that's pretty consistent with what I thought about your draft. Wide receiver, you have the best wide receiver core in the league with, you got Mari, you got Kelvin, and then you can just throw Marshall in there whenever you feel like it. Got rid of Sanders, gave him to me, so you have less Broncos to deal with. But you do have the best wide receiver core, and that's good for you, man. I mean, that's going to be your horse to get you to that playoff push. Tight end, you drafted Antonio Gates, and obviously that didn't work out, so you traded for Jordan Reed, who's hurt, so rip you on the tight end position right now. However, you've got 3 wins somehow. Finally, defense kicker, Hauschka only performs for me. You should have known that. I'm a little pissed off you drafted him, but I still probably wouldn't have him on the squad. Wasted a pick on him, basically. And then you're playing defense roulette every week, so you do that anyway. I do have you finishing behind Jordan at number 8. I just don't think your team has enough oomph to get into the playoff position. All right, last sheet. We're getting through this, fellas. We're getting through this. Next up, we're getting to the bottom tier. Number 9, Nick Masada, 2 and 5. Abdullah Ablangata. I had you draft position number fucking 2. I was dead wrong on that. Your team on paper looks so fucking good, but they are just not performing how they should. Quarterback Russell Wilson is probably the only one that's actually performing the way they should every week. The best pick you probably had. Running back Devontae Freeman is just not doing what he has in previous seasons, and he's a keeper, so you can't really get rid of him, and I don't think you're even trying to trade. Jennings, I thought Jennings was a terrible pick from the draft, and I still do. I thought that your running backs were probably your weakest part of your team, and obviously they are right now. I honestly don't even know who your RB2 is. I didn't write it down because it didn't matter. Wide receiver, you got some wide receivers that are they're stellar. I mean, you got Jordy Nelson, Alshon Jeffrey, and DeAndre Hopkins. On paper, those 3 should be stellar wide receivers. They're not right now. I mean, Jeffrey has Brian Hoyer throwing the ball, now Cutler throwing the ball. He might go up. DeAndre Hopkins has Osweiler, who is awful. And Jordy just isn't what Jordy was before he tore his ACL. So, I mean, on paper, your wide receivers are strong, but fantasy-wise right now, they're not. Tight end Fleener, I thought that was a shitty pick, but obviously the Saints are using him like they should, but it doesn't seem like you're starting him on those weeks when he goes off, so that hurts. Defense kicker, you're one of the few that actually kept both your kicker and defense. Seahawks D and Prater. They both put up enough points to keep and, not peddle with. And you're not one of those guys that's making trades, picking up waivers. You are a plug it in and only change your team when somebody's on a bye. It's not working out for you this year. It has in previous years, but obviously not this year. 2 and 5. I think you're going to finish 10th. And, there's not much more to say about that. Unless your team turns it around, you are headed to the toilet bowl. Next up, we had Kyle Fungy. He's 1 and 6. Hot Dane's Gravy Train. Draft position number 5, so I was 5 off from that, so that was pretty bad. You drafted A-Rod pretty fucking early, and you've already traded him away, so that kind of hurt you. So basically, you wasted a draft pick on A-Rod. Prescott, however, was a great pickup, I believe. As long as he They don't replace him with Romo. Might be a keeper for you. So congrats on that pick. That was actually a decent pick. Didn't think it would be, but it was. Running back Gurley, huge disappointment. I thought he was be decent enough to be what he was last year, and he's not. You traded for Hyde and picked up some Viking sluts to make up for your running back lack of depth, but your running backs are kind of sketchy, and I think that's kind of what I thought in my rankings. Wide receiver, I had huge questions about your wide receiver, who was going to step up, and none of them have, and I still have all those questions, so nothing's changed at the wide receiver position, and it's hurting you. Tight end Kelsey, I was dead wrong on him. I thought he'd be top 5 easy, and he's one tutty on the season, not very consistent. Not as good as he was a few years ago, 2 years ago. So yeah, I was wrong on him. Fuck. Why am I tired? Oh yeah, it's midnight. Defensive kicker, you were the second to kept both your kicker and your defense. Justin Tucker and New England D, both have been getting enough points for you to be alright. And I knew they would in my draft predictions. I believe you're going to finish 9th, though. Not enough to get in the playoffs and not enough to jump Jordan and Austin. Bringing us to the bottom tier, the really bottom tier, we got Logan Foote at 11, dumpster fire, draft position number 9. I was only 2 off from that one. Carson Palmer, huge letdown. I didn't think he'd be that bad, but I didn't think he'd be a keeper. He got hurt a little bit, and his team's not really performing. I told you to pick up a quarterback just in case. You picked up RG3. He got hurt. Now you picked up Colin Kaepernick. I don't know, Footy. Come on, man. There's better quarterbacks out there. You don't need a scrambling quarterback to strengthen your squad. You don't. Running back, I liked your running backs. I like Langford and like Forte, but obviously Langford got hurt and now he's useless. Forte is doing pretty good. Other than that, your depth was pretty scarce. Now you have West and Yeldon, and I don't think they're RB1s or 2s. They're more flex plays, and so you really don't have depth at the running back position. Wide receiver, injury bug hit your team hard with Dez and Watkins going down. I did tell you that Dez was going to get hurt in my draft rankings, and he did. Sammy Watkins was a big hurtful injury for you. And then I also said Michael Floyd was a glorified flex player, and he is. There's nothing, to argue with that. He is a flex player. He's not a wide receiver 1 or 2. Simple as that. And then I said Tavon needed to have a big year. He's not having a big year. So your team is hurting. Tight end, who the hell is this white guy that they're throwing to who isn't Gary Barnidge? Somebody tell me. Because I thought Gary was going to be Gary, and he hasn't been Gary yet. I'm a little disappointed. Finally, defensive kicker, Gano got the boot pretty fast as he wasn't putting up the points as Carolina wasn't doing too hot. He's still a good kicker, but you gave him the boot pretty fast. Cardinal D is probably your best asset right now, so good draft pick with them. I do believe you'll finish number 11 and beat Graham in the toilet bowl. You're pretty used to being in the toilet bowl. Finally, Graham, 0-7, trash pizza, draft position number 8. Obviously, was pretty wrong on that one. Cam Newton's let him down. I didn't think he would. I thought Cam would put up 30 each week, and he hasn't. I hope he can turn it on the last part of the season so Graham can be competitive. Probably wasn't a good keeper in retrospect. Running back, poor Graham. He's running back 1 and 2 both went down. He had AP at running back 1 went down, and then he had Amir who went down. I thought you had a weak running back position, and now you're super weak with all the injuries. Matt Jones is pretty sketchy. He can have some good weeks, and he can have some bad. But you do have some good pickups. J.J.'s could be a solid pickup and could strengthen your backfield, but you're still really scarce at running back. Wide receiver was kind of sketchy with Edelman pick, and I believe you had Ted Ken, and I don't even remember, but they were pretty sketchy. And getting Demaryius actually helped you, but I still think your team is just very scarce at every position. And then tight end, I thought Julius Thomas was an awful pick, and I still do. He just hasn't performed anymore. He's not a good asset at Jacksonville. He needs to go somewhere else to be utilized more. So I thought you'd get rid of him by week 4, and you obviously haven't. I think you've given up since week 4, so that's probably why. Finally, defensive kicker, you had Cairo and Ramsey as your draft picks. I thought they were good picks. Ramsey's kind of not doing how well as we thought they would. And Cairo's a good kicker. He just doesn't put up 15-plus every week, and I think you got impatient. I do believe you're going to finish last place. However, I don't believe you're going to finish over. I think you will get one win, and I think it's going to against Mike and or TJ or somebody like that. That's all I can think of is who you beat. That's all I have for Where Are They Now? A little faster. My last one was 30 minutes. I kind of, it's halfway through the season. Might as well predict where people end up and where your team's at. I like to compare what I'd had at the start of the season with mid-season. Maybe I'll do it at the end of the season. Yeah. Looking forward to the podcast that was supposed to come out last Friday. Whatever happened to being once a week, come out on a Friday. I'm going to keep shooting blanks at you, Steiner and Gibb. Want that podcast. I like that content. Let's get consistent here. I'm staying up late to get my video done. Edit that shit. I'm not going to edit this one. Anyway, that's all I have. We'll be back with wrap-up videos next week, but I hope you guys enjoyed a little change of pace, a little bit more prediction / where are they now type stuff. Yeah, for you guys coming up Sunday, I'll see you Sunday. Also see you at Derek and Allie's wedding on Saturday. You guys have a great rest of your evening. It's about 30 minutes till morning, and I will see you Sunday. Assistant the commissioner out. Number 2 in the league. No.